Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another session of Thriving Through the Holidays. I am your host, Tracy Osborne. In this session, we're talking about staying calm in the midst of chaos. And I don't know about you, but this is pretty much the midst of chaos, this COVID year. So very, very important topic. My guest today is the beautiful, wonderful, I love her to death, Indrani Goradia. She is an advocate for women's health and empowerment. She founded Indrani's Light Foundation, a nonprofit supporting sexual and domestic violence advocate company. She's affiliated with Every Woman Treaty and Think Equal. Indrani has spoken at the World Women's Health and Development Forum at the United Nations and Women Deliver. She's spoken at multiple international gatherings. Her TED Talk, or TEDx Talk, Love Expresses Violence is a Lie, can be found on her website, which if you look below, the links will be down there. She holds a certificate in social impact strategy at UPenn and in executive leadership from Think in Amsterdam. And at 50, y'all get this, at 50, she became a triathlete and a marathoner. I'm so glad to have you here.
Tracy, thank you so much for inviting me. I was thrilled to get the invitation.
Well, when I was thinking, who do I want on this summit? I was like, well, hello, got to get you on here.
Yay!
So absolutely. So I don't know about you, but I think this is probably the most chaotic year most of us, or many of us, have lived through, despite our traumas.
Yeah.
This has been crazy. And with the holiday season coming up, we just, on top of the already, what are we going to expect? Are we going to get the same stuff from family dinners every year? We just don't even know what's going to happen this year.
And Tracy, yes, for most of us in the developed world, this is the worst we have ever been through. And for those of us who have lived through wars or lived through sex trafficking or lived through other multi-year horrors, this adds to all of the angst and fear that has built up. And I want to say that everybody's fear is on the same level. Nobody has more than anyone else. We do not do comparative suffering. Pain is pain is pain.
I agree.
Before we start, and I don't know where people will be when they listen to this, so if you're listening in a car, please don't do this next bit because we're going to talk about slow breath.
Don't want you passing out at the wheel.
Pull over. But this is a good time when we're thinking about general stress. As soon as we think stress, S-T-R-E-S-S, take a breath for each of those letters. An in breath and an out breath. So that's at least 6. And slow it down. And if we do that, we'll find ourselves just giving our brains a little bit of space. Then this is the next thing I wish we would all do. To think of our resources in 3 broad categories. Energy, which is physical energy. So if you have chronic fatigue, that's going to be very low. Financial resources. And if you've lost your job or someone in your house has lost a job, and if you are unable to pay your rent and your bills, that's very possible this year. And spiritual resources, meaning, have you been taking care of yourself? Do you have a self-care practice? Because you could be really low physically and really low financially, but you could be high spiritually because you have a great practice. So we don't know. So perhaps on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is I'm crawling on my belly and 10 is It cannot get any better than this. Put yourself on a scale for those three things, right? And then you look at it and think, I wonder what that means. So if I would give myself a 7 on energy, that sounds pretty good to me. But could I have given myself an 8 last week because I had more sleep? Right? So now we have an internal dialogue going. Does all of that make sense to you as I'm?
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking of my numbers, and I do suffer from chronic fatigue. And
Oh, okay. So you understand what I said. Yeah.
yeah, so my energy levels are, up and down.
Mhm.
So I make good use of those days where I have high energy,
Right.
you know.
And as you're going to the holidays, for someone with chronic fatigue, and I know several people, and now I know one more, I didn't know you had it, they are not able to predict how full or how empty the cup is going to be on Thanksgiving Day or Halloween night or Christmas Eve. So it is best to not shove things into the calendar on those days. It is best if you have 10 things to do one thing for the next how many ever weeks. So on the day, maybe you have nothing to do. And if you have a lot of energy, woo, then you can enjoy everything. And if you have none, that's okay because there's nothing left to do. Okay, Indrani, that's stupid. How am I going to do that? Well, that's the easy part. Everyone's got a calendar. So put on your calendar what you would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, but okay, let's go back. Put on your calendar what you'd like to do. How about putting on your calendar what you love to do,
There you go.
right? Because maybe you'd like to make pies for the whole street. Or maybe you'd like to host a toy drive for, the 12 families that lost their jobs. But if you yourself don't have the resources, either financial, physical, or emotional, spiritual, you cannot do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can hold a toy drive for one family, right?
Yeah.
I would like to save the whole city, but I can save one. So I'm going to do that one,
That makes sense.
right?
That makes sense. And I am so guilty of overstretching myself.
Can you tell me why?
Oh gosh, that goes down to my whole. That's a whole other call. That boils down to low self esteem and needing validation.
And people pleasing, maybe?
People, oh, big people pleasing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
it's been really bad with the chronic fatigue because I overpromise and then I can't deliver because I am just too tired.
and then you feel worse,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So then I overeat.
Because you feel bad, because
I
we
feel
know that
bad.
food gives, good stress, good
And then
hormones.
I feel bad because I've overeaten. I mean, it is a big vicious cycle. And yeah,
Hamster wheel, right?
it is. Yeah, it should be a size 0 with all the hamster wheel running I'm doing.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, I have a trick that I've used for figuring out what you like to do. Because if I would say to you, Tracy, what you'd like to do, your brain might still overtake me and say, oh, I have these 10 things I'd like to do.
Right.
So for everyone listening, sit, breathe a few times, and then write down the answers to these questions. What are your favorite memories from the last few years? Favorite memories, not no, favorite that you think about them and the smile comes onto your face, right? Then, what is your favorite memory from childhood? And then Do they have any connection? Right?
I have no idea. I remember so little of my childhood.
Okay, so for some people, it may be, I don't have any memories from my childhood. So then you don't have to worry about recreating that.
Right?
You're off the hook.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have a best memory, a few favorite memories, and let's say you have 5 or 6 people you're going to celebrate with. You ask them the same thing. Send a text, a group text. Hey guys, I'm doing a thing so that we can have the best holiday, the blah, blah, blah. What is your favorite memory? And please give me just one line. I don't need a paragraph.
Right.
And maybe you can plot it and see where there are overlaps. If someone says, my
Yeah.
favorite memory was apple pie, and 6 other people say that, maybe apple pie is the only dessert you need. Right? If you have 6 different desserts, that's not good because that's too much wasted money. Maybe you can say, okay, rank these desserts and blah, 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 because we're going to have 1 or 2. But see, all of this takes planning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then the next thing I'd like for us to do is, what are the worst memories? But we do the best first. So we prime our brain to be happy. 1 or 2 worst memories. 1 or 2 things, jobs, items, chores that fell upon you that you don't ever remember saying yes to, but all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, Tracy takes care of that. And you're thinking, well, I've been meaning to talk about this, but everybody always just puts it off on me. So what are those things? Then I have a few notes here so I don't forget.
No worries. I would have to do the same thing.
Then you look at your part of it. What are your favorite memories? What do you love? What fell upon you? What do you hate? And you ask yourself this very serious question. I'm going to use my own name, Indrani. If you had to make the best of this holiday with half of the resources that you usually have, what things stay on the list and what things get jettisoned? And since I'm only talking to myself, I can be honest. Perhaps if I have to talk to a spouse, I am not able to say, well, I'm not providing gifts for everybody in the family. Or maybe this is the year to pick names. Or maybe this is the year to say under 12 or under 16, or pick an age.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe this is the year to say the bakers bake, the sewers sew, the people who love to clean and organize, they come and fix the house, because we all have our little things that we like to do, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so why does one person have to do it all?
Ugh. Yeah, and by the time the holiday's over, you're just drained.
You're exhausted, and people have still complained. It was never enough. It didn't taste good enough. You didn't buy the right thing. You still end up not being enough.
Yeah.
So if we know that's going to happen, we can plan.
Yeah. That makes sense. I've never thought about that before. I mean, I've talked to my kids and I'll be like, okay, I'll do Thanksgiving, but I want you to bring this and I want you to bring that. But I've never really thought about, what were you, what would you like to bring? What do you love?
Yeah, what would you love to bring?
maybe the oldest would love to bake a pie. She loves to bake. And, you know, my other one can bring stuffing because she doesn't cook. She burns water.
All right.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Or if she can boil water until it burns, maybe she can bring 6 jugs of iced tea.
there you go.
Because if you want to spike the iced tea, you still have to have the tea.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually decided this year, I don't think I'm going to cook. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with it because I always do it all. I end up having to do all the cleanup. Nobody helps. I don't want to deal with it. So
make sure you write a couple of Post-it notes, Tracy, and put it all over your house, because you might forget that you just said that.
probably.
Because it's always what you've done.
Yeah. In fact, I need to text my girls and say, hey, I'm coming to your place for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And I will bring this and this, or just this.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I want to tell, are we close to time? Do we have to start?
We're getting close. We still have a couple of minutes.
Okay. I want to tell the story of something that we used to make in my country that my mother made it a huge deal, like huge. It was a dish we called pastels. We made dough from corn, and we flattened the corn, and we filled it with ground beef, and then olives and raisins and onions. And when we did it, my mother had to have all the things separate. The onions here, and then you took 2 onions and 1 raisin. And then when I got to be like grown up, I thought, why don't we just dump all of that crap in one bowl and take 1 handful and put it in the thing? Oh, she was highly upset. We started doing it anyway, and nobody could tell the difference between the handpicked this and the 1 raisin and as compared to that.
Yeah.
And one of my siblings went even further. Why don't we cook all of that in with the meat? So it's just 1 spoon in the thing and you roll it up.
Makes sense to me.
But all of that was blasphemous. We were breaking tradition. It's ground beef. I mean, how traditional could it be?
Yeah.
But somebody has to break it, and somebody has to accept okay, it's my fault. If it tastes like crap, don't eat it.
Yeah.
But if you complain and I see you eating it, I'm taking it away from you. Choose a side.
That's great. That's right. You're so silly. I absolutely love talking with you. Thank you so much for joining me on this.
Thank you for asking. I hope, if people reach out to ask questions, send them to me. I'll answer them.
I'll have all your information below the video so everybody will be able to reach out and contact you.
Because our only job, yours and mine, our only heart job right now is to help people have less stress. That's
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Those of you watching, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to talking with you in the next session.